Hi guys, Nigel here with you. It's Monday evening, Monday the 11th of September 2023, and sorry it's been a while, but the weather has been so hot here in the UK I haven't been able to do anything, and everything I've got needs painting, so it's just been too hot to sit in here and do any modelling. So what I thought I'd do this evening is sit here and show you a review. Now if you remember, a little while ago I did a video and I soon deleted the video on these Quicktracks, and these are the Quicktracks for the Meng Chieftain tank I'm building in the Berlin camo scheme. I recently did that last video and these things have finally turned up. Postage at the moment is crazy. I mean, from Poland, well, it seems to be the same from everywhere, it just takes forever. So these things are 3D printed tracks to replace the tracks on the Chieftain from Meng. They also fit the TACM kit as well, so that's all been tried and tested. They haven't tried them on the Tamiya kit. If you try them and they do fit, let me know and I'll let them know, or you can let them know directly. So why have they made these? Well, basically the Meng tracks are very nice, but they have a problem in that they are one-sided. So basically on one side of the track, when you look at them like in this plan here, what you will have is a hole. And on the other side you will have a rivet. Sorry, here where you have a pin, on one side of the tracks there is a hole, on the other side there is a pin, and they haven't made left and right tracks, they've only made one-sided. So one side of your model is going to have a pin, the other side of the model is going to have a hole, and it's going to look awful. So basically that's one of the reasons for making them. The other reason is the Meng tracks are made of a white plastic, which is going to be very difficult to paint and weather and everything. Especially if you've got any little bits, you know, in between the track links when you assemble them and paint them, it can be very difficult to get in all the nooks and crannies. You're going to see white plastic showing through. And the other thing is they have ejector pin marks on the surface. On the reverse side, basically where the road wheels go, they have ejector pin marks which have to be sanded out. So these have been made as an option. Now originally these are designed by Christoph. You can see here, Christoph Muscha. Okay, so there are basically, from what I can gather, there are three people involved in Quicktracks. There is Christoph Muscha, who is the designer, who designs these things ready for 3D printing. I don't know if he does the programming as well, but he does the actual physical design. And then you've got Gregors, who owns the company, who owns Quicktracks, and he does all the printing and everything. And then there's another guy, sorry I forget your name, which I haven't even heard of until he contacted me, who deals with all the distribution and everything. So maybe packaging, distribution, package design, I don't know. But basically it would appear to me that there are three guys involved. I made a video and I showed these tracks going together and they were a complete and utter nightmare. They came with instructions that said they suggested putting them on the bench and pushing them down together, and that I tried that and it just kept breaking the pins off. I tried pushing them together by hand and it was absolutely killing my fingers. I had all sorts of problems. If you saw that video, well done, it's now deleted, it will never be back, you're not going to see it again. Gregor's got in touch with me, well Christoph got in touch with me and said, I can't believe that you actually had all that problem, it seems crazy. We had this issue during development and then it was cured. Then Gregor's got in touch and he said, I'm so embarrassed, I can't understand what's going on here. Not at all annoyed, but he couldn't understand where we'd actually gone wrong. He said that his wife actually put some tracks together from the final packaging, from the final design, and she built up a whole length in about 10-15 minutes or whatever, and he couldn't understand where the issues were. So I assume there's obviously a problem here. I mean, generally speaking, I have to be very careful in this day and age, generally a man's hands will be more resilient to pressure, damage and that than a woman's hands, because generally men's hands are bigger, they get more abuse, and generally they wouldn't suffer the same sort of, you know, the same pain threshold as whatever as a woman. They would generally, you know where I'm coming from, guys. So I'm thinking, this is crazy. There's no way that his wife could have built a setup in 10 minutes, and it took me forever to get them together, and I had a hell of a failure rate. I kept snapping pins off and everything. So as it turns out, what happened was there was at some point in the distribution it all got crossed up and I ended up with a bag of mixed parts, because the other thing that got them was why I had so many. I had nearly 300 links, and on here it says 215, as you can see. So basically what we have here is a set of 3D printed tracks separate links for our main Chieftain, and you should end up with beautifully made workable track links. Now I haven't even taken these out of the bag, so I'm doing this fresh off the cuff, and if it goes tits up again, I'm not putting this video out. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you know it's gone well. So basically we have here, these little pins here. These are all the pins that are the tracks will be printed on. So as you know, when you do 3D printing, resin printing, everything sort of comes on these little stands. So that's what they will be. So basically we have these track links, and you can see here, I'll show you a couple of them, and you can see on here we have beautifully designed parts. We have integral rubber pads. Now they tried to actually make them separately and put them in afterwards, but unfortunately the actual metal part of the track link was so thin they warped, so they had to make it all together. So they've actually made them in this darker resin so that you can actually paint them and then rub off the paint and expose this sort of darker rubber finish. There's a little bit of a mark in that one there, but obviously being a tank track that doesn't matter at all. But we can see that on this side we've got the rubber pad, on this side we've got the bolt in the middle there, which is probably bolting the horn on, and then on the sides we have the pins on both sides. So let's just see how these go together. I've got another set here to show you as well, and if you did see the last video, remember I showed you the tracks for the Chieftain, and I also showed you the tracks for the Cromwell, and the ones for the Cromwell just went together beautifully, and they were really, really nice. And that's why I thought there's something wrong here, you know, because the same company doesn't make one product amazing and the other one really bad. So let's see how these go together. So basically going to push one side in first and then push them together. Oh yeah, this is like a different product. You can see there I'm pushing those together just like that. Now I don't know how strong they are. We're not building tracks here for a radio controlled tank. They don't need to be strong, but we can see here I'm giving them quite a little tug and they're not coming apart, and they are very, very flexible. So yeah, I mean, these are very nice indeed. You can hear them just clipping together with a very positive click. And as you can see, as I say, if you saw my last video, this is completely and utterly different from what I experienced before. I would say you could pull them apart if you wanted to. So they're not going to be as strong as fuel tracks, but they don't need to be strong. When they're on the tank, the road wheels are going to keep them in line. You have your ends with your idlers and your sprockets, and then across the top you've got your return rollers, keeping it all together. So basically, and it doesn't really matter how strong or weak they are. You've got spare links anyway, so if you do damage any, you can just swap them over. So there you can see they're going together absolutely beautifully. And we have no ejector pin marks to worry about, and we have the pin on either side, the actual pin that keeps all the track links together, so we don't have that horrible hole on one side. And we've also got this black colour, or this very, very dark colour, so that if when we paint them we do miss any bits, we're just going to have that exposed rather than that white plastic. Now what I'm going to do, I haven't got the kit out here, so I'm going to get the kit because I'm not, as you know, I'm not prepared, and I'm going to see what these look like on the sprockets and everything, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here we go. So these are the main tracks, and as you can see, one side we have a hole here. Let's get a pointer, let's use the end of a knife. You can see here there is a hole, rather than having it's very difficult because it's white plastic. There is a hole rather than a pin, and you can see on this side there is a pin, on this side there is a hole. So one side of your tank is going to have that hole. We do have ejector pins on every link which have to be sanded out. Not a major issue, but for me the biggest issue is the fact, well, they've got the hole, that's one issue. But the other fact is when you paint these tracks, any tiny little bit you miss is going to stick out like a sore thumb, because it's going to be this light grey plastic. So there we go. So that's the standard main tracks. They're also quite stiff. You can see they're not particularly flexible, but they are, for plastic kit tracks, they are very, very nice. They do go together very, very nicely, and I'm sure if you could block those holes up or something, you'd be absolutely fine. These, on the other hand, are another, you know, they're a mile away. They're brilliant. These are the ones I had that were kind of faulty, and they're kind of 50% faulty. Half the links are good and half are bad. So you know, obviously they made a lot of development, and I ended up somehow, this is what they've now said, I've ended up somehow with 50-50 good and bad parts. So you can see, you know, this end of the track here is lovely and flexible, but there's certain other areas that aren't as flexible because they're a bit tighter. There were areas that just kept coming apart, and you can also see that in some instances they're quite stiff in certain areas. These, on the other hand, are a million miles away. So, and they fit the sprockets. You can see here, they go on the sprockets, absolutely gorgeous, just like so. You can see one side's black, one side's green for my Berlin camo, but they fit those sprockets, absolutely gorgeous. So I can now finally finish my Berlin camo Chieftain tank, as you can see here, which is going to look absolutely amazing. Also for the Chieftain, they kindly sent me this, which if you've seen part 10, I think it is, of the Chieftain build, you'll have seen me using this. And this is a nice little wheel mask for masking the wheels. So you've got 6 there for the road wheels, you've got 3 there for the return rollers, and then this one here is designed so you put the sprocket in there. So you spray the sprocket silver, put the sprocket in there, and then spray the green or black, whatever colour it is you're using. And you end up with the teeth sort of all shiny. I'd rather come in afterwards with like a pigment and make them look bright and shiny and paint chipped and worn and everything. But yeah, I mean, certainly, I think it's, from memory, I think it's 95 or 93 links per side, and they're giving you 250. So if you have no scrap, you're going to have loads left. You need 3 to go on the back. There's 3 that go on the back here. So that'll be a nice touch. But then I'm guessing those 3 separate links wouldn't have the pins in, they'd have the holes, so you could use the Quicktracks links for them and just draw the pin out on the other side. The other thing with these, for the ends, obviously when you put them together, as you can see, you need to sort of come in at an angle and just clip them together like this and push them in. And they go in lovely, just like so. Okay, another one just to show you they go in lovely, just like that. And so obviously when it comes to the end, you won't be able to do that. So what they do at the end, they give you these 4 links in here. Hang on, I've only got 3. You only need 2, sorry. This end, this link here on this end has a hole going right through. I have nothing small enough to put there through there to show you. But if I grab a drill, here we go. If I just grab a small drill, you can see this drill will go all the way through on both sides. Okay, so that's all the way through there, and that's all the way through there. So you only need 2 of the special links, and all they've done is on this end of the link, okay, where you've got the pins, they've drilled through. So you actually get 3 of those special links. So on one end you're going to use one of these with the hole all the way through and the piece of wire to connect. So you're just going to put your tracks together, slide the wire through, dab a super glue either side, job done. So it's all been thought out very, very cleverly for you, and it's all beautifully made. So yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is show you, I'm going to get these put away, and I'm going to show you the other ones I've got here in case you have a Cromwell or a Centurion to build, or indeed an IDF shot cowl or an IDF Puma, or another variant. I think it's a South African variant of a Centurion, but we'll have a look at that now. I'll get this cleared up and then we'll come back. Okay, so next up I have another 2 sets to show you. I have the Centurion here. These are for tracks for Centurion, IDF shot cowl, early Puma and Oliphant. Now I do remember having a conversation with Christoph, and these are apparently, they are good for Hobby Boss, AFV Club, and probably Tiger models as well, because you could actually put them on a Nagmachon. You have to be very careful, check your references. I didn't realise, but Christoph has showed me pictures, and he's actually shown me an image of a one of an Israeli's tanks. I think it's the one that was made for the American tank. Was it the Magshot or something, I can't remember what it's called now. Nagmachon? Not Nagmachon. I can't remember what it's called now. But it even had different tracks on each side. So be very, very careful with your references with Israeli stuff, because they tend to use stuff for years and then modify it and maybe a special, their own sort of track link for something that was Centurion based or whatever. So basically these are very similar in size to the Chieftain tank track links, but you can see they are a different colour, and this is their normal 3D printing resin, which is both durable and very easily assemblable. So obviously I haven't taken these out of the pack, so I'm going to try and assemble them the same as we did the Chieftain track links, and they go together beautifully. Now I think if I was Quicktracks, I think I would be using this resin for the Chieftain track links, because as you can see, it goes together very, very positively. But what they've tried to do is achieve that colour so that you have the right colour for your rubber pads. So I think it's kind of a compromise over their preferred material. But you can see these have gone together beautifully. They're very, very flexible, and they are very, very nice. Now I don't have the kit to show you these actually fitted. So unfortunately I can't do the same as I did with the Chieftain and show you them on the sprocket. But Christoph assures me that these are, as I say, they are good for the Hobby Boss kits, the AFV Club kits, and indeed if you're looking at putting them on the Nagmachon, then you can also put them on the Tiger Models kit as well, if they use the correct sprocket design. So just worth doing a bit of looking around and checking. But you can see these are absolutely beautiful. They've got the holes in the horn going that way, which you won't get in the moulded track links, and there's no ejector pin marks or anything. And I believe that all of the other kits I've just mentioned, they have link by link tracks, so you've actually got to glue the tracks together. They're not workable, and a lot of people don't like them. I personally don't mind them, but I would much rather have workable tracks. It makes them much easier to paint, because what you can do is roll them over something as you're painting them, and just pull the links apart and do the same going this way, and you can make sure the paint gets in there and everything, and you can it's just nice so you can get the droop all correct and everything. Yeah, very, very nice indeed. Of course, another advantage of these is a lot of people don't like building workable tracks when you've got sort of 6 or 7 parts per track link. So like on the Takom Mark IV tank. So there we are, very, very nice indeed. They are beautiful. You can see the very fine detail in them is exquisite on both sides. They're really, really nicely done. So unfortunately, as I say, I don't have a kit to show you them on the wheels, but they are really, really nice. And these here, so I'll get those out, they are part number T35031. The Chieftain ones are 35046, and here we have finally 35045, and these are for the British tank cruiser Cromwell. Now specifically remember Christoph telling me these have fit the Tamiya kit, but I'm not 100% sure if they'll fit anything else. So I'm not sure if they'll fit the Airfix one or whatever. I'm sure they will, but I don't remember what he said. You can see the difference in size in the Cromwell track to the Centurion track link. It's absolutely tiny, but these things are really, really nice. They're beautifully made. They've got the horns on them. They've got the detail on the road going surface there, as you can see here. Really, really nicely, and these go together like a dream. They just push together just like so. I've got a feeling with these you're supposed to actually put them down on the bench, and then using a pair of tweezers come along and put your, there we go. So what you do is you come along on the bench and you pick up your track link by the horn in your tweezers, just like so. You put it over and just pop it down. And you can see how beautifully they go together, and that was what I originally tried to do with the Chieftain links, and it didn't work. Broke them apart. I'm not sure if you can do it with these. Let's see if we can do that with these Centurion links. Look at that. that's the way to put them together. So just pick it up by the horn, come across on the top, and they literally fall together very, very nicely indeed. So there we go. Now I do like my IDF stuff, so I'm going to keep hold of these and use them on something. I think I've got a Nagmachon. I think I've got a Hobby Boss Nagmachon. I'm not sure if these are right for that or not. As I say, you need to check your references. But and I mean, these are worth buying a Cromwell for because they're just so gorgeous. They're almost kind of cute, if you know what I mean. They're so small, but they are beautifully, beautifully made. And you can imagine with some dust and some dirt and some dry brushing and brighten up the metal surface on the ground, they're going to look lovely. So there we are. So they are 35045. So thank you very much for sending me these. Quicktracks, Christoph, and the third guy, who I'm very sorry I forget your name. I absolutely would recommend these to anyone. They are very, very nice indeed. And I will now continue the build of my Chieftain and get it done. And we will get these Chieftain track links put together. We'll get them painted, weathered. They're obviously not going to be way over the top because they were kept immaculately and everything. But with the with the Centurion track links, it would be nice to do those and have them, because they were sort of generally used with the IDF stuff, generally used in sand, so they kind of have a rust film on them. They wouldn't be really all caked in rust, but they would be rusty and brown, but all sort of kept very clean and almost kind of sandblasted by the sand. So there we go. That's our Quicktracks. Very, very nice indeed. As I say, with this grayer resin, you can actually clip them down as they instruct you to, pushing them down. But with these, you actually put them together by hand. I think with those, you could do either. But certainly with those, it works better by just clipping them together. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that. I'm glad we've actually got this problem sorted in the end, because I was really worrying about the quality when I did them first. So there we go. Just proof they are lovely. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon, guys. Bye for now.